Oh, hi there. I was just nonchalantly reading this book of H.P. Lovecraft stories before we start today's Stream of Blood. Welcome, SOBs who are out there tuning in. We're so happy that you are here for part two of a series I'm very proud of, a story I'm very proud of. This is the Black Spirits of the Earth, our adventure and Call of Cthulhu Dark Ages. Oh my God, can I say the name of our show today? Call of Cthulhu Dark Ages. We had an incredible adventure in the 10th century. Started last time. Three really fun characters, and we are gonna continue right into part two today. The characters have set off on a journey downriver toward Danish raiders. That sounds pretty dangerous. I can't wait to see how this turns out. So thank you again for tuning in. My name is Jared Logan. I am the keeper today. I'm always the game master on Stream of Blood. If this is your first time watching us, go back and watch part one of Cthulhu Dark Ages so that you know what's going on. But just to let you know, we are a tabletop role-playing game stream, and we do games that are filled with violence, mayhem, horror, and action. That's kind of what our modus operandi is here on the Stream of Blood. I just want to let you guys know that there are a couple other games that we're playing that you can tune into later this week and next week. So coming up on Wednesday is, I think, part 6 of our Vampire the Masquerade game Vampires of Pittsburgh. Vampires of Pittsburgh is set in Pittsburgh, a city renowned for its gothic horror. We have some great players for that game. It's our 6th episode of it, and I'm so very proud of it. So if you are a 90s kid, a former goth kid, or a Vampire the Masquerade fan, or you just like Twilight, come and watch us at 6 p.m. on Wednesday. That's Pacific time, and we'll have the next chapter of our vampire game. And I'm really excited to announce this next thing. So when we asked people what their request was for what we should play going forward, I kept going, what games do you guys want to see us play? We got a lot of people that said, hey, I would like to see Cthulhu, right? So we had already planned to do Cthulhu Dark Ages, but when we heard a couple more people say Cthulhu, we said, okay, you know what? We're going to turn Sunday into an ongoing game. It's going to be the same game repeatedly, because up till now we've been doing a bunch of different games on Sunday. We are going to start a Call of Cthulhu Gaslight game next Sunday, tentatively titled The Neptune Society, dealing with adventures involving the sea and the briny deep. And it will be set in the 19th century, and that game will be ongoing. Players will come in and out, but it will have an ongoing kind of saga to it, a kind of an ongoing storyline. So be sure to tune into that. That'll be next Sunday at 1:30, and then mini Sundays at 1:30 Pacific time after that. All right, that's enough plugging the rest of the stuff that we do. It's time to go back to a time before adequate sanitation, to a time before there were even castles, really. Back then, there were these like Mott and Bailey things that weren't like these aren't really quite castles. They're like these like fortified forts made of mud. To a time right after the fall of the Roman Empire, give or take 400 years. Yes, I am talking about the Dark Ages, and I have some amazing players to reintroduce to you. Coming up first, she is an incredible comedian. She's an awesome podcaster, and her podcast, The Dork Forest, should have something for anybody who's enjoying watching this. I'm so happy to have her and to be able to play a role-playing game with her for the first time, actually. I think this is the first time we've played role-playing games together. Please welcome Jackie Kashian, everybody.
Hi, how's it going?
Hi, Jackie.
Hi.
I'm good.
Yes, I am ready.
Yes.
I'm ready.
And your character is Eartha, a healer and wise woman, right?
A cunning woman. A cunning woman.
And
a midwife.
Eartha, yeah, a midwife. What do you think? What do you think is going to happen to Eartha? Do you have any plans for her or thoughts about where she's headed this session?
Well, Eartha, we're about to hit the road, and that's one of the things Eartha has always enjoyed is getting out of town. Right. So she's like, yeah, let's go meet the bad guys. There's no reason, you don't want to eat where you well, you get the rest of the saying. Anyway,
you don't want to eat where you shit.
Yeah, that's you get it. I didn't know.
However,
about
in the Dark Ages, people did literally eat where they shat.
Yeah. Let's not look forward to it. The repeat of it, huh? Who's read Canticle for Leibowitz? And so we move on. And but Eartha is looking forward to. I think she's going out. She's brought some potions. They're mostly first aid potions, but there might be something worth fighting the good fight, or she's got a pretty good juke.
You're really hoping that you roll potions on your potion skill, and I tell you that you've created some sort of explosive, aren't you?
Yeah, I brought my rose quartz D10s, you guys. I got a percentile. Rose quartz, it's lucky stuff.
That's going to work for you today. I have a feeling. I'm going to bring out our next player. She is a correspondent for Magic the Gathering. She does all kinds of things in the geek sphere, and she's an incredible actress. And this is also the first game I've gotten to play with her. And man, so fun. So I'm so happy that she's here. She might still be chewing on some pizza, but we're bringing her out right now anyway. Please welcome Becca Scott, everybody.
Jared, you outed me. I'm a professional. I eat pizza in the seconds leading up to going live.
You were ready. You were like completely pizza free by the time we cut to you.
Crumbs off. Let's go.
Look, I believe in listen, as a streamer, I believe in a very kind of organic, like real DIY vibe. So if you want to chow on that pizza while you play, that'll just be like a normal home game, right?
It's sun-dried tomato and pesto and mozzarella on naan bread.
It sounds really good.
We can't talk about the pizza and not show the pizza. It's like
that's right. And
gun.
Maybe this will just kind of turn into kind of a food and cooking show.
One can only hope. Except, will there be eating and shitting in the same kitchen?
It's the Dark Ages, so yes.
Okay.
Becca, your character is. Your character is Moira of Mirth. She is a warrior woman, which was a thing in the Dark Ages. It is historically accurate. There were women who were part of war bands. There were shield maidens. There were Viking raiders who were ladies. But just let us know what do you think is going to happen to Moira this time? What's on Moira's mind?
Yeah, there may be women warriors, but this one's not well respected. Sometimes children throw stones at me. I'd like to explore more. I feel like Moira can learn so much from Eartha and hasn't really explored that yet. So we'll see if Eartha wants to take Moira under her wing, even though Moira is largely hulking over. So how the wing would fit, I'm not sure.
Right. She'll need a large wingspan.
I will shout up.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. I imagine she'll probably start fights and get into trouble, but then Edgefrith will, of course, limit her. Is sort of, the check on her unbridled ambition.
Yes, her martial enthusiasm, you might say.
Yeah, or just rage factor, I guess.
Yeah, totally.
Enthusiasm, martial enthusiasm is good.
Well, you guys are in a boat going down river right now, so maybe Moira will have some boat rage, which is like road rage, but harder to express.
Moira gets seasick.
Moira might.
Oh, great! Now I get to make her have a con roll to not throw up. But you mentioned his name, and now I must bring him to the fore. Playing Edgefrith, our artistic-minded monk. And Moira's kind of boon companion, actually almost sort of more her like her noble master, if you will, is a guy that I've played hundreds and hundreds of hours of role-playing games with. He is a gifted writer, actor, improviser, game master in his own right. I want him to run a game on this show sometime. Please welcome Humphrey Ker, everybody.
Hello,
welcome back, buddy. How are you?
It's good to be back. I feel a bit like the last note in a sort of sad trombone, like bam, bam, bam. Because you had the first two on. It's like, yes, great.
High note.
Okay, good. And then, the third one's me. But that's my lot in life.
Again, you're just helping set the tone for the 10th century AD. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, we have this beautiful kind of, high energy ladies, and then you come in and are just like, buds.
and me.
But the Lord, everybody, but the Lord.
And then also be.
Humphrey,
What
I
is
got
Jesus'
texts from
will?
friends that want you to read them books to fall asleep at night because you have such a lovely voice.
That's
So,
very sweet of them.
so I don't know
I'll
what
take
you're talking
that.
about with this bringing things down.
I'll
high
take
Yeah, I
that.
don't know what you're
I'm
talking about either.
strongly fishing for a compliment, and it worked.
Humphrey's one of the people where when I play with Humphrey, and I'll stop blowing smoke up your ass after this, Humphrey, I promise.
It's very
When I
sweet.
play, Humphrey knows so much about the different various game worlds and the kind of things that would be in them that he just adds details that the game master would know and makes the world more real while he's playing, which, you know, usually players make the world less real. They're like, I want to attack when no one would normally attack. I want to single-mindedly search for treasure. You know.
Who would do that? Yes.
Who amongst us would be so wild?
It's
Hey, whatever makes you happy. We'll play the way you like to play. And speaking of,
I shall.
let's begin the game. I'm just going to give a brief recap so we all remember where we are. Our friend Edgefrith, the monk, he was a monk at St. Swithin's Monastery in the Midlands of the kingdom called Mercia that would one day, many centuries hence, be called England. He was called in to speak to his abbot, who said that there was a heretic in the settlement of Totbur, about a day's travel away, and that heretic was getting people worked up, getting the villagers worked up over the oncoming end of the world, because for it is the year 999 AD, just a couple short days, 3 in fact, at this point, until the turning of the new year on December 25th. That's when they counted the turning of the new year back in 999 AD. And this heretic, whose name is Iadis, was stirring up the local populace about an oncoming apocalypse.
Y2K?
Y2K.
Y1K.
Y1K. Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. So,
Sorry.
no, don't apologize. So,
I literally written down to make that joke.
Oh, really? I finally got it.
guys, we can make it the whole time, and we can also make it a hashtag Y1K.
Let's
Hashtag
get it
Y1K.
trending.
You think all the calendars not gonna work?
All right, so you got your boon companion, Moira. You headed to the village, the settlement of Totbur. There you were met by your sort of guide and your sort of, sage to help you on this expedition. Eartha, the local cunning woman. You interviewed the said heretic, who said that he knew that the Danes to the south were going to somehow bring the apocalypse. He was having strange dreams that led him to believe that. And then after you walked around and talked to the local lord and had an unfortunate encounter with a anchorite priest in his church, you realized that things were strange here. Many people were having strange and prophetic dreams that seemed to imply catastrophe was soon to come. You saved a Viking, a Dane, from being hanged by the villagers who had been stirred up by Iadis, the heretic priest. Even though that Viking was definitely there to scout out your settlement for raiding, you still let him go, and he ran off. And then you headed back into the village, and yes, you made plans to go and visit these Danes that live to the south to see if you can get to the bottom of these strange dreams everybody's having. Because as you left the settlement, you noticed that many people in the settlement were behaving strangely. They were sort of losing their minds. Their behavior was changing, and they were not sticking to their normal daily roles. So now that I have given all of that exposition for anybody who just joined us, I can set the scene. You are traveling south in a boat, a fisherman's boat, a small boat, down to the estuary of the River Severn, where you've been told that this Danish settlement is located. And just to be clear, you guys are Anglo-Saxons. It is dangerous and strange. It's a unique situation you're in to be going to try to parley with these people. They have been raiding and basically trying to conquer your land for hundreds of years. So if diplomacy is tried here, it could be difficult. But I would just like you guys to let me know what's happening with your characters as the day passes as you travel southward.
Well, who else is on the boat with us?
Oh, yes. You have a fisherman on the boat with you.
What's his name?
Alfric.
Alfric.
Yes, Alfric the fisherman. And he was pretty gung-ho when you told him. Yeah, I always get tired of characters in horror games, like when the PCs come to them and the PCs are like, help us. They're like, I don't believe in that. This guy was immediately ready to believe you. Told you to hop on the boat and took you south. So, Moira, where do you think what are you thinking? What are you planning? What are your thoughts as you travel south?
Number one, I got to keep Humphrey safe, obviously, because all that really matters to me is that I have been exiled from my home because of my uncle and how he murdered my parents and all that. That's rather unfortunate. And the only way I can get revenge, according to the soothsayer I spoke to, is if I pledge my allegiance to a monk and the right monk, and I protect them and do service in that monk's honor. I don't know what the soothsayer had for monks, but so I'm going to do anything I can to keep Humphrey safe. And
you'll have to work hard because I don't think he has any kind of keep myself safe type skills.
Yeah, I think his bones are made of eggshells, as far as I can tell.
Yes, right. Very poorly.
Yeah.
You put all of your points into creating illuminated manuscripts, isn't that right?
That is true, yeah. And suffice to say, if this situation can be solved by a beautifully illustrated New Testament, then baby, I'm your man.
You never know. That could come in handy. All right. Well, the Alfric is going to tell you, unless anybody else has anything to chime in with, like questions or something they want to state about what their character's doing as you travel.
Yeah, I'm trying not to vomit as well.
Give me that Constitution roll, please.
Alfric, could you slow it down? This little fishing wharf is two-faced. My sensitive stomach.
Can I be of some use? I might be able to be of some use because I have boat skills and I have some first aid.
Ooh, okay. So I'm going to say that Jackie, Eartha can also help steer the boat. Yep. And let's see how the Constitution roll went before we start applying first aid. How'd you do there, Moira?
52 out of 55, which is just barely.
Okay, you're keeping your breakfast down.
No, it's good. No, I'm good.
Great. You're keeping your breakfast down, but you see that your stalwart warrior woman is kind of holding on with white knuckles to the rail of the boat. And Jackie, can Eartha roll to help kind of navigate the boat and kind of help Alfric with the steering and whatnot?
Yeah. What am I rolling, do you think?
Well, you said you have boating skills, right?
Right.
But you meant like in theory.
Yeah, we were talking about boating skills.
Well, you definitely, your backstory had that you kind of got captured by Danish raiders long, long ago and were kind of, being taken off to be a slave in a Danish settlement, but you escaped by praying to the old gods.
Right.
So I'm going to say that suffice to say, you don't need to roll anything right now. You're not really helping him navigate or anything like that. But what you are doing is you're very helpful, like with helping out, moving things around and I
might just be getting in the way.
Yeah, this isn't a very advanced. Yeah, he's being polite, but he's a little annoyed with how much you're meddling with his boat. Which is not a complex boat, you guys. It's just it's a very small little fishing craft that he uses single-handedly a lot of the time. So you're all kind of cramped in there, and it's really difficult travel. You have to travel 2 days to the and there are 3 days before the new year. So you have to travel 2 days unless you want to travel through the night. Do you want to travel through the night? Alfric asks you. He turns to you and goes, "It's dangerous to go down the river at night, but if we're in a hurry, perhaps we should try it."
Aren't they coming at us too? Won't we? Aren't they?
You're not sure. Everybody's having dreams about these strange Danish raiders, and in fact, Edgefrith himself had a dream about a man with a white beard and an eye in his chest. Yes, and snakes that came out of his beard. And that also, that jives with what Iadis, the heretic priest, was dreaming about. But nobody has been able to tell you that they're definitely planning an attack or that anything like that is happening.
Indicators are there, though, that they sent scouts to come and look at the defences of Topborough and a dream. That's enough for me. That's as good as a signed invitation to a raiding party.
Well, the scout is a good clue, I guess. Yeah. Although that guy, when you saved him from being hanged, promised that he would tell his allies back in the Danish settlement that you guys were too well defended. Yeah.
Maybe we shouldn't have taken his really nice sword, because maybe he's angry about that.
Yeah, but if he breaks his oath, then he'll go to hell. Have to live in Helheim.
Yeah.
That's not good.
Christianity sounds great.
I mean,
I love Christianity.
You say that, but now it makes me think that maybe you don't. Is that right, or am I the dumb one?
You might be the dumb one. Who wouldn't love Christianity? Think about it, Moira. Think about how much
it's pretty good.
I don't understand. I'm not Christian. Humphrey's a Christian. He's a monk. He's the most Christian.
He's the most Christian. It's really working out for him. Yes.
Yeah, it is actually. It's going great. Thanks. I can understand you being sarcastic, and first of all, things that I don't appreciate.
No.
So after you talk about God and the Christian faith for a couple of hours, Alfred's like, I put the question to you again. Should we pull the boat over and make camp? Or should we head all the way down to the settlement through the night?
Well, here's the thing. I'm very scared of the dark. I don't know if you recall.
I think we're dead in either case, so let's keep going. What do you think of that?
Moira,
what do you think of that
Moira,
terrible
are you going to be all right? Will you be able to sing one of your little songs to keep yourself...
Yeah, no, I wrote a new one. We saved a day from being hanged. Fiddle-dee-dee, fiddle-dee-doo. I don't think you're going to kill us.
The raiders could be anywhere along this river. They could be on the shore and hear you.
I think we're safer on the water.
Yeah, that's right, because there's monsters in the trees, and if you stop and you pull over, then they'll come out in the trees.
Because chances are that they will have pulled over for the night as well, you see.
Agree.
Okay. So, unfortunately... as you're traveling through the night, you guys are, probably, are you resting or are you
sleeping?
Well, I imagine that Alfred can handle the ship on his own. So
yes, that is what he kind of was doing. So
we can sort of squeeze into one side of the boat.
Yeah. Okay, so if you are resting, if you have any HP missing, I think nobody had more than like 1 or 2. I'm going to go ahead and allow you to either heal that HP. It was just a bruise or a bump. It may be that nobody took any damage last time.
Does the gentle lapping of the waves soothe my troubled mind and restore some much needed sanity?
From your 1 sanity? No, I don't think so. Okay. You're still worried about the oncoming disaster that before you thought might be foolishness, and now that you know there's something to it.
I thought it was just tomfoolery, and yet now I see that the tomfool here is me.
Is Zephyric taught me how to work his boat at all so that he can get some rest, or no?
I don't believe he has. As we established, he was kind of annoyed with how much you were helping.
Standoffish.
So I think that he's standoffish. He's like, why it's unlucky to have a woman on a boat, let alone 2.
Hey, don't call me that.
But because you've had to hear about sexism in a role-playing game, each of you may check 1 skill of your choosing. That's only fair. Okay.
I'm a white man. I'm right here.
No, you can't do it.
I should automatically get 5
only Jackie
advances.
and Becca. All right. So, so as you're sleeping, suddenly you guys all of a sudden are jolted awake as the boat kind of like suddenly like goes up in the air and down and stops, and you hear Alfred cursing. And as you open your eyes, you see that it's almost dawn. But it's not quite. And he has run the boat aground on kind of a, mud here in the estuary, and it seems to be pretty firmly stuck. And he's getting out and like cursing and like wading into the mud. And on either sides of you, this is the 10th century. Nobody has taken care of this particular part of the riverbanks. So you are just surrounded by tall grass as high as your head. And above you, the sky is still blue, but you can just see that it's lightening just slightly. And Alfred is cursing quietly under his breath. He's a silhouette in front of you. And then he turns back to you and goes, "This'll take a while. You should go on to the settlement on foot if that's where you're headed."
Why would you run the boat into the side? Why don't you just keep in the water?
Well, Moira, okay, I think he's trying his best. All right, so...
No, well, you need to explain this to me, because we asked for him to take us in a boat on the water.
That is true, but I'm sure that Alfred here will agree to have a reduced fee, given that he's not in any way delivered on what he promised us.
There's no fee. I was doing this to help a man of God. Unfortunately, I became weary overnight. Wait, I have a whole monologue.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I became weary, and my eyelids became heavy. And when I closed my eyes, I saw something huge.
What did you see?
Many miles high, moving through the tall grass toward Totborough. And when I awoke, I'd run the ship aground here.
Into the tall grass.
I think you're endangering all of us when you steering a boat asleep.
I'm sorry I failed you.
That's
but
okay.
Once I get the boat free, I can come south and meet you outside the Danish
Pick
settlement.
us up for the return. All right. I'll tell you what then, you can have half a blessing now, and you can have the second half of it when you come and pick us up. All right.
That's a good deal, I'll take it.
So for now, you're not going to hell, but you go to purgatory. But if you do pick us up, then it's heaven for you, baby.
Thank you, my lord.
Humphrey, I don't know if you ever gave me
Kisses
a
your
blessing.
cross.
I'll bless
I
you,
don't know if that's
Moira.
allowed, but he does it. Okay.
Bless. Yeah, that feels pretty good, doesn't it?
So now here you are.
Holy water.
It's almost dawn. You are wading through mud that's up to your knees, and you know that following the river south, you'll come to a settlement full of people that most likely want to kill you. What do you want to do? How do you want to approach?
This is weird because don't they have a ship that we were going to go meet? And
Well, we had seen their dream.
there was right.
But I wasn't sure it
How
was
we know it's not
necessarily-
ground
it could have been. Could
could
have
be
been
a ground
an
ship.
allegory. Could be a ground ship.
right, ground ship.
They could be rolling it on logs.
Yeah, in Edgeforth Stream,
That's what
he
they
saw this raider with a beard of snakes. He saw him in the prow of a boat. That is what the dream foretold. But
So now I'm starting to think maybe he doesn't really have snakes in his beard. That could be an allegory as well.
Interesting. Okay, so is there a road that we can get to from this mud?
I'm afraid not. You could go off into the tall grass. I'm sorry, Moira, what was your question?
Oh, just what do snakes mean then? If they're a symbol, like maybe he's just
It's usually
upset.
ding-dongs. It's usually ding-dongs.
Interesting.
Like fellas wangers.
He's got a beard full of.
Yeah,
He's got a beard full of dangle genders. That's
It
a
could
lot.
be. It could
Okay,
be.
all right.
I don't like it.
I don't know. Whatever it is, I don't care for it. So, can I please roll Own Kingdom to see if my geography knowledge of the area gives me an advantage on some sort of old Roman road or something that might lead us in that direction?
Hey, that's a great idea. Why don't you go ahead and do that?
All right. I rolled a 39 on a 35.
Unfortunately,
Nice.
you're not aware of anything as convenient as an old Roman road. The road here is the river itself. I will say to track through this wilderness on either side of the river down toward this place, I will need some sort of like tracking roll or something like that.
This is my specialty. This is what I do best of all. This is how I make my living before I found you.
Yes, I
Edward.
remember.
Thank
I
goodness.
Yeah. Okay.
Or the baby Jesus.
Yeah.
Yes, probably him. He's always involved.
Yeah, I like to think I'm a little baby Jesus inside of me.
He's everywhere.
Here we go.
That's what they tell me.
Oh my God, he's behind you. Wait.
Just give me something to sniff, and I'll be able to track it. That's how I do it.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
They don't
The fresh
sniff.
mud of the river. I don't.
Oh, or I can sniff the sword.
Oh yeah, they use
Well-
this particular type of grease they put on the sword.
So to be clear, I don't know that your tracking skill involves tracking things by scent like a bloodhound. It might
This
be
is just
more the
Moira's
kind of thing
belief.
where you find paths in the woods and footprints and things like that.
She doesn't really know how her powers work. It's
Sure.
it's
It's
just
intuitive.
intuitive, but she thinks it has to do with it's me nose. Real strong. You ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Yes, born ready.
Yeah. I succeeded with 1 billion flying colors. I can
Oh
say
yeah,
that
how'd
again.
you do? Did you do extremely well?
I got 75 for tracking as my stat, and then I rolled a 12.
Oh, that's so good. Is that under your 1/5 competency? I believe it is.
Oh,
So
yes.
you've succeeded extreme. So what I'm going to tell you is all the various problems I was going to give you as you tried to cut your way through the tall grass. Moira just pathfinders her way into the brush. She leads you guys through. She keeps saying, "Nope, don't step there," because it's like deep bogs of like quicksand and swamp. And finally, she gets you to a place where you can see there's clearly been a path cut through the tall grass and the bog here, and it splits, it forks, and then Moira points out to you because it's not immediately evident, but with her extreme success, she gets this too. She sees footprints, and they go back and forth in two different it splits off this path. It goes north, it goes south to where they said the Viking settlement was, and then there's another little kind of path that goes off into the wilderness to your right.
I sniffed the footprints.
Yes,
This way.
definitely Danish boots made these prints.
Interesting.
Well, I'm so glad that we brought Moira.
Yeah,
Or
me too.
Moira brought herself. That's right, she's a person.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, hold on. Now it
Listen,
feels like
no
you're
one's gonna
accusing
call
me.
me that.
You said it.
I did say it. It's something. I want Moira to. There's a secret plot of mine for Moira to be her own woman in the end of this.
Sure.
Where she's, but you haven't made her follow you as a monk. You're
No.
constantly encouraging her to see the world.
Earth, I'll be
She's
absolutely
following the
honest with you.
soothsayer's prophecy.
I'll be honest with you.
I just
Earth,
stare
I've spent-
slack-jawed as they talk about me right
I've
in
spent
front of me.
Quite a lot of time trying to get away from her.
I'm a woman.
But anyway, I'm
But
delighted
nice
to
work,
see her.
Moira. Yes, nice work.
Moira, good job. Very good job.
I've never been prouder of myself.
The light of dawn has now completely broken by the time Moira leads you, an hour into the swampy environs of the estuary and shows you this forking little path. So as I said, the path there's a part of the path that leads north and south, and then the kind of a side path that leads off into the tall weeds farther deeper into the wilderness. So I want to know where you're gonna go.
And which way were the footprints?
I'm glad I did that.
Both ways?
The footprints. This is deep mud here, so they are pretty fresh, and they lead down both. But you can see that there's a lot more traffic on this main path, and that only a few footprints go off into the side path.
I say we go to side path because it's daytime and I'm not scared of nothing now.
Right, and if there's less of them, perhaps one amongst us, a particularly beefcake lady, might be able to grab one of them and get some answers out of them.
But,
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
aren't we looking for the main army? I mean,
Well-
I'll go wherever you like, but I mean,
Well, I mean,
this might just be someone dashing off to their own farm, don't you think? Or
it could be. It could be, certainly. But if we find the main army and they're not that keen to talk to us,
oh,
they
there's
might
that too.
just
We can get some information.
Because, like, they'll do terrible things to you, but they'll do really terrible things to me because
Right.
I'm a priest of a religion that they
I
don't
wouldn't let
care
that
for.
happen.
Right.
Yeah.
I got a little Danish, so because of being all stolen.
Well, yeah.
But I think actually you're right, Moira. Is that maybe we can ask a local if there's less of them? I'm on board.
All right, so we're taking the side path. Is that right?
Yes.
As
Okay.
we're walking, I want to ask Eartha, Arthur, you make decisions a lot, I noticed.
Oh yeah, I'm a big fan of decisions.
Yeah, how do you do that so fast?
Well, you just make them, and then if you're wrong, you've just live with the consequences. It's unfortunate, but it's one of the things I learned in my long life of 27 years.
As you walk, you can see that this path is it's very overgrown. It's definitely kind of a side trail or something that is not commonly used. But Moira, the footprints remain fresh, and eventually you come out into a place where it opens up a little bit, and surrounded on all sides by very tall swamp grass and reeds. You see in kind of a very shallow pool and kind of a bog, a huge black stone. And the stone is covered in carven runes, and it emanates a sort of feeling of dread.
Do not like it.
No,
Do I
not at all.
recognize it? Do I recognize it as a pagan-y thing?
It definitely is some sort of pagan-y thing, but someone could roll perhaps a religion or occult.
I have
religion.
Occult.
Okay,
roll?
both of you roll those things.
Okay.
Oh, dog dicks.
I'm going to roll religion as well.
Do so.
I know.
Giant fail. I have 58. I rolled a 73.
I rolled a 62 on a 60, so a very small fail, but a fail nonetheless.
I don't know if this seems right when I know a thing about the world that you two don't know, but
Moira, you're blossoming in front of us.
It's so beautiful.
I know about this because I'm very Christian, and I rolled a 22 on 40.
Ooh.
Well, because you're very Christian, you remember very clearly Yadis's sermon, and he talked, or the times that he told you his dreams, and he talked of cyclopean structures with weird runes carved into them. And
Does that mean one-eyed?
What's that?
What's cyclopean?
Cyclopean is a H.P. Lovecraft word that he used way too much in his fiction that just means enormously, colossally, gigantically huge in a way that makes you shiver.
Got it. And if it had an eye, there'd just be one.
Right. You know, it's odd to say that something is cyclopean and be referring to the Cyclops' size and not its eye.
Right.
And yet that is what the word means. Okay, so he talked about these strange runes that covered everything in his dreams, and none of you, even the smarty occultist and the smarty priest, can recognize these strange runes. They are not Swedish, they are not Danish, they are not Viking runes. They are something different. But now that you are looking closely at the stone, I would like anybody who would like to make a spot hidden roll.
Me.
That's not Christian at all. I can feel it. It's bad.
Let's do it.
Bad in it. Bad
Fucking
sick. Real yuck.
Rolled very badly so far.
Oh my gosh, as did I. I have a 55. I rolled an 80. 80%.
Okay. Then all
Did you
I
say
can tell
you can't roll religion on this? It's more of an occult?
This is
spot
we're doing
hidden.
a spot hidden now. Do you have spot hidden, Moira? Be over there on the far right column, I think.
Oh, wait, what happens if you roll exactly?
That means you succeed. If you roll that score or below, you succeed.
50 on 50.
50 on 50? So here's what I want you to do. I want you to check that, Moira of Mirth. And Moira of Mirth, you are the one who notices that the stone has a crusty, dark, rusty kind of coating kind of oozing over the top of it that you all immediately recognize as human blood. Everyone roll their sanity.
I don't like it.
I'm anti-rolling my sanity.
Just
What do it's another percentile, right? I'm so sorry.
Yes, it's always a percentile unless you're rolling damage
Oh,
or
no.
What am I trying to get under?
trying to get under your current sanity.
Oh my gosh, I lost so much
I
sanity.
don't like this. I don't like this one bit. That's not good.
Okay.
Why did we come here?
Here's what you realize. Someone has recently been sacrificed here. And I think that is a reason that three people of the 10th century might get really upset and kind of horrified. And I think that also we need to have a little bit of sanity go away from Miss Eartha because she failed her role. Did anybody else fail their sanity?
I also
Epically.
failed my role. Yes,
Okay,
all three of us did.
Oh, all of you did. Okay.
Yeah.
So luckily, it's only one sanity loss for Eartha. It is one sanity loss for Edgefrith, and it is one for Moira.
Okay.
It's not an uncanny monster from beyond Euclidean space. It's only a stone covered with blood, but nonetheless, your hackles are raised, and at that moment, I want listen rolls from everybody.
What is too much blood? The live comments would like to know.
I know, because with women folk, our threshold might be higher for seeing
Okay.
blood, but that's a lot of blood.
These rose quartz are being retired as of right now.
We'll charge them in the moon.
That's what I'm talking about, baby.
How'd that
Yeah.
listen roll
But
go?
didn't you have amethyst as well? I'm jealous of your dice.
Yeah, I'm doing amethyst. That's what I'm moving to here.
23 on a 47.
I rolled
Very good.
100% on a 55. 100.
Completely forgot what you said we're rolling.
It is listen.
Thank
Listen this time.
I've gone deaf.
Yeah. Two bees have flown directly into Eartha's ears.
I just started
And some,
screaming when I realized that I don't like this blood here, and so I rolled 91 on a 25.
So Moira and Eartha are not aware, and Cthulhu is one of those fun games where a perception roll can be very dangerous.
But I heard
Because
something.
You did hear something. Standing
Is that good?
here in this little glade and looking at this blood-covered stone, you realize that beyond the birds and the insects, Edgefrith, you can hear a buzzing voice out in the weeds,
What's that? I
closer,
heard something.
closer than you would like, and it's saying, make another sanity roll.
Oh, great. I rolled a 5.
Freeman.
Eat shit, Buzz voice. I don't care about you at all.
You lose
I had to
0
make a-
sanity. You lose
Yeah.
Voice
0
sound like
sanity.
bees.
Like, I
That's
heard
very
somebody.
impressive.
But you all feel very uneasy to be here. What would you like to do? Oh, by the way, the path does sort of end here, so it looks like this is where the path was leading.
Are the footprints? Did they also end here?
The footprints are all around here, and a tracking roll could tell you how many people were here.
Oh, I could tell there was maybe people who've come here and no, yeah, yeah. I'll tell you exactly how many people because I rolled 67 on 75.
Nicely done. 3 men were here, and they were dragging another man, and they were here within the last 24 hours.
I don't know if you guys can tell because I'm an expert here. This is the behind of a human. This large track.
That's what that is.
Yeah, see how it's not. See how a foot is shaped like this, and this is the behind.
Mm-hmm.
That's how
Right.
it behind looks when it's in the mud. Interesting. See, I like to learn. Eartha likes to learn.
I know that about you. Yeah, Edgeford, he already knows everything.
I'm just away in the corner, busy crossing myself a bunch, and quickly blessing some sort of piece of bread and then eating it.
But we didn't hear the voice, the crazy voice.
You did not hear the voice.
Edgeford, what do you say we do now?
Did you hear that?
No.
Did you hear the voice?
What?
There's something out there in the grass that spoke to me in a language I don't speak. I think it might have been French.
Should we find it first, maybe? And then we could kill it.
It didn't sound like a voice that I want to find very much.
Do we see which way the dragged body seemed to have gone? Back down the path or into the grass?
So the dragged body, the path of that seems to sort of end at the stone. So either the person, yeah, maybe they were
The
thrown off
stone
into the
ate
woods.
the body?
Well, my point is that there was no more dragging after that. Maybe they were carried after that, or
I think, and this is strange for me to feel these thoughts, but maybe you all should perhaps see if maybe there's something beneath this stone. Like maybe there's a hidden cave or something.
Oh, can I use insight?
insight is usually for sussing out people's motives and moods.
Does this rock have a motive or a mood? It does not. Interesting. Fair enough.
It's for when you want to be an empath, Jackie.
I would like to try and intimidate this stone just to see if it'll budge for me.
To show what's what.
You could try it, but I'm going to go ahead and tell you it probably won't work.
Can I
I'm
just
try it
a spot
anyway,
hidden?
just
See if there's
because
any more clues.
Moira doesn't understand subtlety.
Would you like to look around for more clues?
Could I, do a spot hidden to like have a snoop around the edge?
I think that you can, and I want a hard spot hidden.
Me too.
Okay,
Me
baby.
too.
But let me know if you succeed, not hard.
Meanwhile, I successfully intimidate this stone.
I'm going to interpret that, Moira, as you are just like sitting there acting very brave, even though everything is super creepy. You're like kind of steeling yourself for trouble and making yourself, like puffing yourself up. And how did your spot hidden go, Edgefrith?
I succeeded, but not hard.
Okay.
So I saw
succeeded,
something.
but not hard as well.
Okay, so you do see something. You walk a little farther into the bog, past the stone, into the tall grass, and you immediately follow yourself falling down into the mud. But let me explain. So I need a dex roll from Humphrey and Eartha. But I can tell you what you see is you see a little white kind of speck of something sticking up out of the mud. How'd your dex roll go?
I keep missing by one on things, and ones again. Bit of fun there. Lighten the mood. I missed my dexterity roll by one.
Okay, how'd you do, Eartha?
By 31. I missed it by 31. An 81 I've rolled.
Okay. I think that in your case, Humphrey, it's a really good opportunity for Edgefrith to use a little luck. Would he like to do that?
Yes, he would.
Okay, so when you use luck, you just subtract that much from your total. Your luck, it goes down as you play, and it regenerates sometimes between adventures or when you rest. So your luck goes down enough that you only need to use like 2 points here so that you can.
I need to use one point.
Only one. That's right.
Yeah.
So you catch yourself before you fall into the bog,
Ooh.
but poor Eartha falls all the way down into the bog, slides in, and you're in this kind of morass of mud and sand. And as you sink down, the thing that you guys saw, the little white speck sticking up out of the mud, suddenly is revealed to Eartha as the corpse of a man covered in blood, with a big shaggy beard matted with blood, who's been like sitting there as like bugs and animals eat at his eyes, like falls forward and flops on top of Eartha. Eartha, make a sanity roll.
Oh, I gotta find a different percentage dice.
How many
goodness.
sets do you have, Jackie?
I have four sets of.
That should be enough. I've got 2. I still lost one of them from last week.
Okay.
I'm too lazy to look under my. So.
Sanity. I made it.
Okay.
48.
Okay.
Just made it.
Nicely done. You only lose 1 in that case. Then
Just
you
remember,
are
I've got
down
a
to
Viking
47.
symbol tattooed on my wrist. Everybody. Fact.
Oh, that's cool. Maybe that'll help you when you meet these raiders finally.
Maybe.
But in the meantime, I need to know what people are going to do next. So
I don't think I've noticed yet. Edgefrith.
Over here, quick!
Alone in the clearing.
Come quickly, sweet Moira.
What? Hey, you! There's all these grasses and the wind.
I would this way, please. I would definitely help Eartha, but if I attempt to pull her out, I will immediately be pulled into the morass.
All right.
I'm already out of breath.
I'm going to use a different wrist. I'm looking at the comments, you guys. I'm so sorry. I'm back. Go.
Eartha, do you consent to me pulling you out of this muck?
I appreciate you asking. Yes, I consent to that.
Okay.
Then give me a strength roll. Or if you have it, athletics. I think that's a skill.
Doesn't matter. I'm great at all of them. 43 out of 70.
All right.
Woohoo! And I'm up.
It's not life or death, so I'm not going to ask you to check it. But Moira of Mirth deftly pulls you free, and now you're all looking at the corpse again as it sinks. The corpse is sinking down into the muck.
Do you know him?
Yeah, do I recognize him?
No, but if you'd like to roll other kingdoms, you may.
Okay. All right, I'll give it a go. No.
Okay,
I know very little. I want to see.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and try it. Why not?
Nothing.
Okay. All I can tell you then is that by the way his hair is braided, it looks to be one of the Danes. Not the one that you rescued from the hanging in the last session.
We saw a Dane, we helped him be saved, and his friend is dead in the muck.
The body is still sinking.
Should I save him too? H-free?
What? Do you want to?
You want me to save him too?
Yeah. Should we pull him out? Maybe we can learn something about him.
Okay, I'll try.
Yes.
Now,
yes. Let us pull him out.
How'd
90
you do?
on 70.
90 on 70. Okay, so you're like kind of reaching, and then the body kind of goes under, so you just kind of missed your opportunity to get it out.
Grab just a chunk of flesh.
Did you want to maybe make him Christian after he was dead?
Would you like to push the roll? You know, you can push the roll, Moira. That means you roll again, but if you roll poorly, something terrible happens.
You know I do.
Okay, go for it.
Wait, no!
Coffee.
Go on, Moira.
Coffee.
So triple zeros would be 100% or 0?
Triple zeros. Oh, yeah, that would be 100. So that's a critical fail.
That's not very good.
What do I do?
Moira falls into the swamp as well and goes immediately under. And what you guys don't see, what Edgefrith and Eartha don't see, is that once she's under there, she feels cold arms wrap around her and clutch her, and she feels a face with some of its flesh missing, like touch its head against hers and whisper in her ears, Cthulhu, Cthulhu Fataga. And that is when I need Moira to make a sanity roll.
Made it. 14 on 34.
Well, that's good, but for feeling a corpse grab you and whisper in your ear, you still lose 1 sanity. And so now it is up to our less athletically inclined PCs to help our friend Moira, who has fallen into the murk.
What could be more narratively satisfying than me, the gimp monk who has to be helped up by her physically all the time, now physically helping her out?
It's
right. That would be an incredible reverse of roll.
I rolled a 9 against a 45, which is an extreme success.
Oh my god!
And what skill were you rolling, or were you rolling just strength? Oh my god! I wish you could check strength, but you can't. But suffice to say that Edgefrith is like, "No, my friend!" and he leaps. And, he reaches out and he yanks Moira up out of the bog.
The strength of
God! I don't let go. I hold on afterwards.
Thank the Lord for it, and not we ourselves.
They say people in times of high stress are empowered by their adrenaline, but that theory won't come for many hundreds of years. In the meantime, God helped you.
Yeah.
That's what CT84 said. The strength of God.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Well, I was down there. I think the corpse wants to lay with me.
Yeah.
Okay. Against my face.
It was more like it wanted to be a secret or bring you down to the grave.
Very sensual. It must have been for quite a while.
Okay, interesting.
If I think about it.
I think you're okay. The natural world, I have... how do we get her away from the natural world and allow the dead to be dead? Can I say that we must allow the dead to be dead and keep moving?
Perhaps you should. Perhaps now you should move on to the Viking settlement. But I will let you, if you have any other business here, conduct it. Does anybody have anything else they want to do? The corpse has sunk beneath the swamp, and you are left alone in this place that makes you all very frightened with a black stone.
I think the fear has made me want to sort of. Maybe I'm misconstruing signals, but when Edgefritz saves me, I just we're on the edge of the muck, and I go for a kiss.
Oh my God!
What?
I'm not allowed. Please.
No.
Don't.
Oh no. Yeah. No. That was the corpse speaking.
I'm
That was the corpse speaking.
Sorry.
Don't get me wrong. I'm very flattered. Of
No.
course.
Oh, God made me do it. I think. No. That's. I can't say that. That's sacrilege.
God.
Keep in mind, Becca has described Moira as hideous numerous times.
Yeah. Yes. No. I mean,
not that matters.
That's not. I mean, and don't get me wrong. I am also a monster. But
600 years of celibacy, though. I think.
Yeah, that's true.
My lips fell. It's an accident.
Okay.
Nothing of it. Yeah.
Well, maybe a cunning woman whose business is sort of in many ways matchmaking and love has some advice for them here.
This is going to end poorly. Let's wait for this. I say swipe left when we get back to town, gentlemen, ladies. We really must be going on. This seems very beautiful. I love what's happening here. But could we go and just make sure that the Danish aren't going to destroy my town?
Right.
Which I happen to like. I like my town.
And then just as Eartha turns away to sort of head back towards the trail, Edgefrith grabs Moira's hand. It's like, stay alive. We've got much to talk about after this.
All right. Moira actually smells better and is cleaner after falling in this muck than she had previously been.
Wow. Okay. If you say so, I believe you. You guys aren't too much worse for wear, except for, you had a couple of thrills and chills back there. Maybe you learned something useful, maybe you didn't, but suffice to say, after exiting that path, you come back to the main path, and you know that there are footprints leading southward.
Footy prints. Let us follow the footy prints.
Very good.
Let's do it.
Smart.
Very good. After you follow this path for not very long, and now the sun is fully out, and the day is beginning, and it is a cold day. It is a cold day, and you all are very cold. In fact, I forgot. It's late December. You may be cleaner, Moira, but I do need you to make a Constitution roll to tell me how you're doing, and who else fell in. Oh, Eartha, I need you to make a Constitution roll for me.
No bueno.
I'm using the other hand. That was a recommendation on the comments.
Mm-hmm.
Son of a... All right. I fail my con by another 81 from 50.
Okay, so
81%.
This may seem real harsh, but I think falling into really cold water, Call of Cthulhu isn't Dungeons and Dragons. So when people take things like falling into cold water, they can affect them. So I think 6 HP are kind of temporarily removed from your health score because you are kind of freezing as the day wears on and you get to the edge of the Viking settlement. Moira, how'd you do on your Constitution roll?
76 on 55. So I think that I'm only at 12 HP to start, so I lose 6 as well.
No, you only lose 1. I only rolled 1 when I rolled for how much you lose.
I for some reason do not have my HP.
Okay, so your HP, that's okay. It is your strength plus size divided by 2.
Okay.
Divided by 5. Sorry, strength plus. Actually, can we look that up? Secret keeper Clint, can you look that up to make sure that Jackie knows what her HP are? Her HP is 12. Your HP is 12, so you are at half HP. Your cunning woman is not doing so well. She's kind of really shivering and has taken some damage from this. Okay.
So now I'm at 6. Is that right? My HP is at 6.
You're at 6. Okay. That's right. Thank you, Clint. Okay, he can send me little notes and a little thing over here, so he's very helpful in that way. All right, so
maybe I can help you, Eartha, because you don't look so good.
Yeah. Can I help myself? I've got potions, I've got first aid, and I've got Moira.
I would like to try, maybe not so well, because my first aid isn't great.
Yeah, so
I've got quite good first aid.
Okay, well, let's do this. Let's have, in order to apply first aid, you need some sort of thing to help you, right? And the person that brought something is Eartha, who brought potions, right? So you said you brought a bunch of undefined potions. Maybe you have one that's good for exposure and being like cold. So
it could just be brandy.
It maybe your potion is brandy. So using that that kind of is. I think we said you had like 3 potions with you. That's going to be one of them. I'm going to go ahead and allow one of your friends to make a first aid roll, and they can do it with a bonus die to kind of reflect.
It's got to be Ekfrith. Because I'm so sorry, Moira. You, I think, have no ranks. No ranks.
I think I'll just warm you up and I pick her up and shake her a little bit. Ekfrith, is this working?
You know what? It's actually less useless than you might think, Moira. You're doing pretty well. So I rolled a 13 initially against 65, so that is extreme success.
Okay, so here's all the incredible things that have happened. That extreme success, I'm going to go ahead and roll, is going to go ahead and heal you to the tune of all of that HP.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, brandy doesn't get invented for 600 years. But in our timeline, Eartha invented brandy in December of 999.
That's it.
Wow, nice work with the potions.
All right.
Thank you. Episode.
Ekfrith, I feel so much better now. Double time.
You know, it's fun to play historical games because there's the action, the mystery, the horror, but also all of the anachronistic inventing you can do along the way.
Yeah.
You are now find yourselves at the edge of the wilderness looking at a kind of Viking fort. And it is a much more, although well put together, it is a much more temporary kind of settlement than Totbur, and smaller. But you see that there is a wall of trees that they have strung together and tied together to create kind of a wall. And you actually even hear voices shouting in the Danish tongue and people moving about. So far, they have not seen you, but at any moment, they might. How would you like to handle this? What would you like to do?
Do they look possessed? Do they seem just like worker bees? Does it just look like a fort of people?
Yeah. So you would have to kind of sneak out there a little farther to kind of get a good look at them, because you're not right at the gate that leads into the settlement where most of the people are kind of milling about and moving back and forth. So would you like to do that, Eartha? Would you like to sneak out there and take a look?
Have any stealth? It does not look. Does anyone have any stealth?
I got a little.
Not great. I got a 1 in 5 chance.
I got natural world. Is that something? No.
I don't think in terms of scouting it would be something. Moira, would you like to attempt this?
Well, me and Edgefrith, we're both equally good at sneaking, so I'm gonna sneak to the right. And Edgefrith, you wanna sneak to the left?
So, well, I mean, maybe when you say we're equally good at stealth, does that
you
mean
also
you also have 20%?
Do you understand this? I'm gonna go sneak in then, if no one's gonna stop me.
Yeah, before I get a chance to stop it.
Yeah, no, fail.
Okay. No problem. Moira's like, follow me, and then, runs out there, and it's like kind of like army walking out there. And
sneak to the right.
The second she's kind of gotten outside of the environs of the wilderness that kind of surrounds the settlement, you suddenly hear in Danish like, "Hey, Oliver!" And then you hear footsteps coming toward your hiding place, everybody, and they are running. So what would you like to do?
I want to protect Edgefrith and Eartha by just taking off running so that they follow me instead.
Ooh,
That's
I
great.
love that.
Ooh,
That's really
distract.
smart. Great.
Maybe I didn't think it through, but I just do it, and that's the unintended consequence.
Okay, no problem. So Moira just takes off, and she's the one that they
That's
saw. So I'm going to rule that 3 big, stout Danish warriors, not in their full armor or anything, kind of go running past where Edgefrith and Eartha are still hiding, and they're just like pointing and yelling and chasing after Moira. And we'll find out what happens with that little chase in a minute. But in the meantime, now that, well, I can tell you this because Eartha asked a question. They seem to be behaving as normal Danish warriors. They only ran by, but they were kind of like shouting and yelling at each other in the way normal people would.
Right, they didn't seem insane, or they didn't seem.
Yeah, they didn't lope along with fangs or fish gills coming out of the side of their heads. Yeah.
Here's my. Is their fort on the river? Are we near the river again?
Yes, you are near the river again. You're actually near the estuary, so it's actually where the River Severn opens up out into the sea.
The Bristol Channel.
Thank you, the Bristol Channel. Thank you. That's why you're here, among many reasons. And you actually may have crossed over into Welsh lands at this point as well. So what?
Can we see? I wouldn't mind finding out what was on the river, like to see if there was any sort of fleet readying to head up to Tutbert.
Yeah, so that's a great question. So you can kind of like get out there farther now that Moira has led them on a merry chase, and you can now go look down and get a look at the river way down below, and you see that all of their long ships are sort of lined up down there, but that they are not like, you don't see a lot of activity. You don't see like them getting loaded up or anything like that.
Bit of a fail. Nice work, Frith, with your dream.
What? I'm getting blamed, am I?
I thought we were. What's gonna happen?
I thought we were too. Look.
Do we go find Moira and head back to Tot? What happens now? You got any plans?
Well, look.
Here's have meant something. It must have meant something. We must be here for a reason. The Lord does not allow his servants to stray too far from the path of righteousness. He knows.
Reach for some patience. Yes.
I'm a blimmin' good servant. He's don't test me, wise woman.
Okay.
I speak no ill of your unearthly behaviours, making people give birth and disgusting things like that.
You want to make out with the tall lady? Don't talk to me about.
Meanwhile,
I don't know what you're talking about.
Meanwhile, around the side of the settlement, Moira, you're leading them on a merry chase here. How do you want this to go? Would you like to just roll your decks? Are you just trying to outrun them? Are you trying to fight them? Are you trying to find a place to hide? What are you trying to do?
Trying to think of what I'm good at here. You know what? I'm pretty mediocre at a lot of things. So, I think that I just want to, I'm great at dodging and brawling. So let's try first. Okay, I see all 3 of them behind me, and I'm just going to sort of like dodge roll to the side.
Okay, you're going to dodge roll to the. You're kind of. So
I'm preparing to turn around and brawl with them, but I want to start with doing a super sweet dodge roll.
Okay, I think I get what you're saying. Give me that dodge roll. I think I get what you're going for here.
There's 3 of them behind me, and I just stop straight and just dodge roll and see if it trips them up.
Yeah.
32 on a 60.
Hey, that's really good. Let's see how they do here.
I'm hoping for head bonking.
They do bad. So the way you kind of stop and kind of roll around them, they kind of like run ahead of you a little bit, and now they're all kind of like turning around and confused, which I think is going to give you a little bit of an advantage with whatever you're planning on doing next.
All right.
So tell me, what are you planning on doing next?
Okay, let's see. I have a great brawl skill, even though I have all these weapons. So I'm just going to go for the closest one and just sort of grapple them from behind and just try to snap their neck.
Okay, great. Give me a brawl attack. I'm gonna rule that you get that what your little dodge maneuver has given you sort of a surprise round to fuck these guys up. So go ahead, give me that brawl roll.
I feel like maybe I should push my luck because 104. That's a beyond bad, right? Or is that a 4?
If you rolled a 10 in your 10s die and a 4, you have actually rolled a 14.
14. Or is it 004?
004. I don't understand.
That's a 4.
A
That's
4,
real good.
baby.
That's extremely good.
It's a 3 that I'm holding up.
So here's what happens.
Then I said I failed something that I succeeded.
Yeah, me too.
You succeeded.
Pulls his
You
head off.
grab the guy and you got him by the neck. And I'm gonna ask you once: are you trying to snap his neck and kill him?
I'm trying to kill him real dead. I just don't know my strength.
Okay.
Adrenaline is pumping. I don't know how. I have no half measures.
Snap his neck in front of the other two, and they're like, and they kind of ran out of the settlement with, they weren't like all like girded for war, and now they're looking at you, and you just snap the guy's neck, and they're like,
I just start crying.
Run! They don't, get there! Rah! Rah! And they start running back toward.
They don't kill Larry. She killed Larry.
They go.
No, Larry! No, Larry B.
They're not tangling with you right now. They're gonna go get their swords and their friends.
Oh shit!
This is bad.
And this may have been where things have really gone off the rails.
As he drops to the ground, I sort of like arrange his body and put his neck, try to put it up straight, and lay his hands on his chest. I'll go get Edgeworth.
Okay, so. You have snapped the neck.
Why was it chasing me? I asked the dead body.
So they don't have a church, right?
Look, if you hadn't scored an extreme success, the fight would have continued. You would have done some damage. Maybe you would have just knocked him out. But you scored an extreme success. By the way, check your brawl. You scored an extreme success, and then I was like, do you want to kill him? And you did. So that is what you have done. So you know what? No matter what happens to the world when the apocalypse comes, at least Becca had some fun breaking a Viking's neck.
Yeah. And also
I made a bad decision.
For that Viking, in a way, this may have been a blessed release, because he's going to avoid what is to come.
Oh,
that's true. That's true, right?
All right, so they're running from you, Moira. What would you like to do? Would you like to go back and find your friends? Would you like to give them chase? Would you?
Back in the same direction where we all came from is where my friends are. So I want them to think I'm chasing them, but really I'm just running for Edgeworth to see if he'll like bless the body and bring it back to life, or maybe Eartha can do some witch stuff and bring it back to life. So I'm running towards them, but they think I'm chasing them.
Okay. They are kind of like shouting and screaming as they do that, and they are running toward the entrance, the big kind of wooden gates that were open, for the
Moira
day.
Does the reverse Han Solo. So she gets chased off by some baddies and then reappears chasing them back in this direction.
Right. And what I can tell you is that now a bunch of Danes are coming out of the front of the settlement. And unless I get stealth rolls from Edgeworth and Eartha, they are going to be seen very soon.
That's good, because my stealth is amazing. And by amazing, I mean real bad. I failed.
Bad. Yeah.
Comfortably. So much so that I think I may have given a little scream when I saw them.
Right, and I think I witnessed her killing that guy and went, "Oh!" and yelled, because I also failed very badly. 79.
All right. Suddenly,
over here.
Suddenly, 12 guys are like they have their spears like aimed at you guys, and when Moira comes running up, they've got her too. Like suddenly you're getting a little bit surrounded by Danes, but there's a voice behind them, and then a big man comes forward. He's got long blonde locks and a big blonde mustache and ice blue eyes. He does not have a beard, but he does look to be in charge in some way, and he's telling them to like take hold of you. So now I'm showing everybody my cross. You're being covered by guys with spears, and now
Right.
5 guys are just coming forward. Like, in addition to the 12 guys with spears, 5 guys are just coming forward to kind of grab you all. And
Okay,
take
I
you
want to
into...
make sure I'm showing them all my cross. And they're all like, be careful. Be careful.
They don't seem very impressed by it. I need to know if people are allowing themselves to kind of be taken into custody, or they are attempting some sort of escape or parley. What is your approach now?
My approach is parlay.
Yes,
I have
that's a good
some
idea.
Danish, and I don't think I can fix this, but I'm going to give it the old college try.
Okay. You have some Danish.
Yes.
So here's what I'm going to do. You can tell me what you're going to say. I would keep it simple because you're not good at advanced Danish.
Right. I also have a check mark on my status. Does that do anything for me?
Not here. Your status is in Top Borough. Yeah. So if you keep it simple, I might even give you a bonus die to your roll to speak to them. But if you, but let's see what you say. Tell me what you want to say to them.
We have come to warn you of the portent of. I literally just spin the tale of the. In broken Danish, of how we've gotten a lot of dreams, and I try to say, we just came to warn you and wonder if you have had these same dreams. We're checking up on you. We thought we were being attacked. Our friend has lost her mind.
Okay, so you basically in Danish are saying like, we have come to warn you of the bad dreams.
Yes. We have come to warn you of the bad dreams. We're hoping that you are not having the bad dreams of Y1K, and we have a bad. There's trouble. Our friend, possibly we just came from that black stone, and we're hoping.
Roll your Danish. Danish.
My Danish. Do I get an extra die?
I think that because you immediately went into a discussion of dreams and you said that you gave the entire story, you do not get a bonus die.
Fair enough.
May I roll my religion?
You may. Why are you doing that?
Because I was wondering if I could pass on to Earth, if I know anything about their religion, if I could pass on to Earth the details that might then make it more understandable for them.
Yes, go ahead.
And how about matching my Danish with my occult? Is there any way that I can?
I think that old Edgefrith has a chance to help you here. Let's see.
I made it hard.
Really? Okay.
Not extreme, but hard.
You are now, Jackie, and your character is Eartha believes in the old gods like Woden and Frigg. So she actually understands exactly what Edgefrith is saying to her. You know, that she needs to, instead of putting it in like a Christian context, she needs to say, we have received omens from Odin.
We heard Hugin and Munin.
Yeah,
the ravens of Odin flew down and whispered in our ears. Hark, and listen to us, the song of the dream weavers.
We have seen a catastrophe.
Yes.
And now I will give you that bonus die. Roll your Danish with a bonus die.
Now, what does that mean? I just approach and I'm just sobbing uncontrollably and just melt to the ground.
It's like Bois when he cried. Yes.
Feels so sad over her murdering.
Right. There's water being released. Anyway, so how do I add an extra die?
So by that I mean you can roll 2 10s dice and take the better of the 2.
Thank you. 2 10s dice.
Edgefrith, I didn't use my gentle hands.
You didn't use your, what was the name of the Bioka hands, the sweet donkey from before. You used your bad touch hand.
23%.
23 on your Danish?
And my Danish is 21.
Do you want to use luck?
Luck? Yes.
Spend those 2 luck points.
2 luck points.
Okay, so you do that, and you say in Danish, the bad dreams. Woden sent his ravens to us and told us of an oncoming catastrophe. And boy, oh man, do you suddenly see all the Danes stop and start to whisper to each other. And sort of talk animatedly until the big one, and you have just enough. The guy with the blonde locks and the blonde mustache. He's like, quiet, bring them into the settlement.
Also, if you get a chance,
bad heads.
Ask them if any of them speak English.
So now you're being kind of like pushed along. You're covered on all sides by these guys who are just armed to the teeth. They're poking you along with their spears, and you enter their settlement, which, I mean, how to describe it? Well, it's only men live here. Dirty, angry men that rape and pillage and loot and set fire to villages. Vikings, baby. Vikings.
Deployed Vikings. I get it.
You are stepping through the dung of their animals and you're moving into their settlement. And I want everyone to make a spot hidden roll. No, I'm sorry, not everyone. Only Edgefrith to make a spot hidden roll. You do
Sort of lost in my tears here.
The pressure's on. Oh.
How's my insight yet? Any chance to use insight?
Not yet. Actually, yes, there is actually. I want you to use insight.
I missed it by 11 points.
Oh, I made it.
Do you want to spend luck or push the roll?
I'm going to push the roll.
Okay, roll it again.
And spend luck? Because can I do it that way where I like help
Let's do it one or the other. Let's do one or the other.
I'm pushing.
Pushing it.
I'm pushing. And now I missed it by 5.
Do you want to spend luck this time?
Yes.
I don't know. Can you spend luck on a pushed roll?
We don't have time to go into these sorts of things, Jared. Yes, I do. It's all fine.
I'm gonna let you do it. So
I made the insight not hard, but real close. Out of 75, I made a 42.
Great, then Jackie, I will tell you that Eartha notices that the Danes have been much like disturbed by her talking of strange dreams. They seem to be on edge now and like looking at each other with, if not fear, certainly wariness in their eyes. And with your pushed and luck used roll, my friend, you failed your pushed roll, didn't you? Oh no, you succeeded once you used luck.
I just failed my pushed roll, but I then succeeded.
Okay, so you look over and in the crowd of Danes, you only spy for a second, just for a second, a man with a big white beard, like with his arms crossed, watching you from between two of the huts, and around his neck you see a symbol that us modern people might recognize as the evil eye. It's the kind of like Greek or Mediterranean symbol with like an eye on it. He's wearing it along with other medals and things hanging under his big white beard. And oh my God, Edgefrith, you need to roll sanity because this is the man you have dreamed about.
Edgefrith, you think I killed his boyfriend?
Do I think you killed his boyfriend? Could be. I failed.
You failed. Okay.
Sanity.
You take
Sanity.
one sanity. I'm rolling one every time.
I'm very relaxed.
Do you point out the bad guy and then I roll it
very
both and I
much
know
so.
things?
I'm right there. Between the huts over there.
Then he's
Because I've
almost.
heard tell of this guy from at least 3 people, right?
That's right. But he
Just
seems
makes for
to.
beard though.
He seems to be gone the second you look at him, like, and I don't mean that he disappears or anything magical, but like, you're being pushed along with spears and like the Danes are yelling at you, and pushed past that guy's kind of in the middle of the crowd watching you, and now you are kind of in this like kind of raised area in the middle of the camp, and you can see like fighting, kind of like primitive fighting dummies and stuff have been set up in here, and you also see a little bit of blood on the ground. It looks like this is a place where they do their exercise, and they're all kind of standing around you, and they're all armed, and the big guy with the blonde locks comes up and he says to you in Danish, "Who sent you?"
Ooh, we sent ourselves. Can you hear me?
Yes, he can. He hears you, and when you say that, you're like, "We sent ourselves." He's like, "Was that an echo?" Okay, we're fine.
I think Humphrey has lost his speakers or his headphones.
Oh, you're talking to Humphrey when you said, "Can you hear us?"
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Are you okay? It happens.
It
Hey, it
happened.
happens to lots of guys.
One moment from Humphrey.
Okay. I
Private-
almost
private-
don't want to go with the description until he's. Here we go. We're gonna
Oh, yeah.
Apple to the rescue again, guys. If you're out
Your
there,
boy is
buy
back.
Apple products.
There
yes,
it is.
welcome back.
I tell you,
Buy Apple products.
My plugged-in
they're-
headphones just died, just like flat out.
How's that
Like-
possible?
I don't know.
Maybe it is the spirit of the Dark Ages reaching forward into
Cthulhu's
the
in the
21st
machine.
century.
Yeah,
Yes.
mythical powers interfere with electrical signals. That's a fact.
Your hair
I'm
looks
back,
real
baby.
nice, Humphrey. It looks real nice. It's good to see it without the headphones.
Yeah,
This is
people's
not
heads are shaped differently without headphones.
Just trying to be supportive. Just trying
That's
to be
very
supportive.
sweet of you, but it does
Yeah.
not look nice.
Regardless,
Don't even
let's
talk to me
get-
about hair.
Let's get back into it. Yes, the leader says, "Who sent you?" And Eartha says, "We sent ourselves." And he starts screaming, "Lies! Lies!"
Hey, don't you talk to Eartha like that. You see what I did to your man and I'll do it to you.
Okay,
All
don't-
of you.
Eartha,
Wait,
don't translate that if you can possibly.
No.
There's a bunch of tears and but as soon as one of my friends is threatened, I instantly just flip.
Right. And
Great. So make an intimidate roll, Moira.
41 out of 45.
nice.
So Moira gets up in the leader's face, like, "Don't you dare talk to her like that!" And man, now blades are kind of up in people's hands, and things are getting really tense until a man comes through the crowd. He pushes people aside, and it's like, "Wait!" He's saying something in Danish, and then he looks at you, and you recognize the man you saved from being hanged. And he says,
"What was his name? Can you remember?"
"His name is
told us.
Bjorn." And
Bjorn.
Bjorn, I came up with that off the top of my head. And Bjorn, he looks at all of you, and he says, "Let me translate for you."
Thank you, Bjorn. Tack.
And then he's like
Danish, I
saying,
know.
you only catch every other word of it in Danish, Eartha, but he's saying, like, calm yourselves. These people are peasants. They are not warriors. They do not pose a threat to us. They can tell us much of their settlement.
Uh-oh.
Perhaps
What
you
is he
could tell us
saying that-
much of yours.
And
I
so
mean,
I tell
up to
Ekfrith and Moira, and can I say to the guy we saved? I was like, "We saved you. We just need to make sure that our the Odin Raven dreams. We're just trying to all live in peace, right?"
You want me to talk to them about the dreams?
So does he know about? I forget about.
Do you?
If,
Well, oh yeah, sorry, Jackie.
oh, no, I'm curious. Did I explain? Did he know about the dreams? Did he?
So he
I
did
forget
not. He never talked to you about any dreams, and right
He
now
was
he's
just a
acting
scout,
confused.
right?
Like, what are you saying? What do you want me to say?
Oh, right.
You saw, did you not, Bjorn, what had become of the minds of the people of Topbro when they tried to string you up? You know that they were driven by some animus beyond that which already exists between our peoples. Animus means dislike. I don't know how good your English is. I apologise. I should use a more straightforward word. May I just say, for your second language, your English is sensational. much better than my Danish.
Sure.
Suffice to say that we have come here driven by a worry that some foul magics have been performed upon our homeland and our peoples, and we worry that such things may spread here too, to your settlement. Have you seen any evidence of such things here?
Perhaps. Let me talk to Ingvi about it.
Ingvi.
And he turns to the guy with the blonde locks, and he's like saying in Danish, like, Woden, dreams. He's talking to them about the things that you mentioned earlier. And some of the Danes are nodding at each other when suddenly the man with the white beard comes out of the crowd. And he's like, these spies are here to sabotage and destroy us. they, and you don't catch all of it because again, you have like a 30% in Danish, but he's definitely, and when he's yelling that, you see other Danes kind of nodding their heads as well.
Bjorn, I have a question. How long have you known this one, huh? You been in your settlement a long time?
Bjorn is like, he is a traveler to many lands. He joined our band. Years ago.
He's been with you for years.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
He
That isn't good.
Yes. He has been with us on many raids. What do you accuse him of?
He is the Dreamwalker.
I think that, does anybody have anything to determine things about culture or like maybe
kingdom?
Other kingdom, maybe, Humphrey?
Annoyingly, I don't have that particularly. I've got religion. I've got a library use. Do they have a library here?
They don't have a library. Okay, then I'm going to ask for
good Latin. I've got good Latin.
That won't help in this particular case. But you know what?
Ingwe, that's his name, right?
Ingwe, yeah. That's the name of the Danish leader here.
Name? Yeah.
So I'm going to go for an idea roll, which is just I believe, your intelligence. But in order for you to get the idea that you might need to go for, you need to make it hard.
Okay.
What does it mean to make it hard?
That means you make it at half its value.
You take
And it
that
also
top
means
number.
You make a lot of friends. All right. So I rolled a 95 on a 65.
Okay, that's not going to do it.
Yeah?
Yeah, go ahead. Anybody can if they'd like to.
Can I push my roll?
Oh! I made it by 1! 54 out of 55.
Eartha.
Except that it's a hard 27.
So,
I failed it. 24.
Okay, that's okay. All I can tell you, Eartha.
My brain. Oh, sorry.
Well, all I can tell
Go
you
on,
is I can't give you the idea that that might have come to you, but I can tell you that Vikings, the Danes, they value strength and health. Okay, so that's all I can tell you. That's for some reason that's occurring to you.
I challenge him.
Hold on. I'm thinking real hard. Maybe I don't know.
Challenge him to a trial by combat.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I am surprised.
Traveler from many places. I'm not a warrior, but the Lord is on my side.
Edgefrith
He will guide my blade.
is going to challenge this guy to a trial by combat, and Bjorn is like, "Are you sure?"
Yes.
Can you name me your champion?
Terrible.
You can name me your champion. You're gonna fight.
Bjorn says, "The monk challenges Wilgar to an ordeal by combat." And suddenly all the Danes, all of them are real excited, and they're like, yeah. And Wilgar steps forward, and you see that like he's kind of like misshapen, like he's kind of like covered in like
me
heavy
too.
furs and his beard and everything, and he comes forward and he pulls like a big knife of like golden tarnished metal, like this is like from something far away. It looks like he wears like accoutrements from like Byzantium and things like that, and he's like, "Come, stuff in Danish. I am doing the Braveheart thing where I get people really pumped up." And then
I'd like to go back into my corner with Mira and Arthur and be like, "Oh Christ, I don't know why I did that. I just think that's the only way we could get out of this situation."
Sounds like
I think it's a sin to kill yourself. That's a sin to just suicide. Is in your religion? I'm pretty sure.
Okay, Arthur, do you have
I believe
anything?
in you, Edgefrith. Here, take this dang sword.
Okay, so you have a sword.
I like nearly drop it because it's too heavy for me to pick up.
Any good potions? Any good potions in
Yes,
my other 2 potions?
Interesting. Okay.
Do you have any good
Give me a
potions?
potion roll. Give me a
Okay.
potions roll,
Okay.
Jackie.
All right. Gonna use the good. Oh my God. All right. Okay. Literally made it 20% from 70%. Made it by 50.
Check your potions if it's not already checked. Eartha hands you a stoppered bottle, and it's like, well, what do you say, Eartha?
Is it what would it be? Would it be strength, or would it be illusion,
Would it just be... It temporarily really increases your energy and strength.
Or is it a paralysis poison that you can put on the edge of the sword, and if you touch him at all, it paralyzes our bad guy? You
know what? That's the best idea.
That's
what it is.
That's what it is.
Yes. So she's like, here, and she's like pouring it on the edge of your sword.
Yeah.
So now if you hit with an attack, he has to make a con roll or be paralyzed. And let's see if man, that wouldn't go over very well in an ordeal, but I'm gonna say
I'm blessing it at the same time and saying that it's just oils that I'm anointing it with.
It's holy water.
And I also take some of it and I put it on I go to one of the guys one of the Danes next to me, and I take his shield off him. Because that would be fair, I think. I presume he's got a shield as well.
He gives it to you, and when you do that, he claps and puts his hand on your shoulder, and you just smell his breath, and he's like,
the dead guy's gonna use my shield. The dead guy's gonna use my shield.
And I clap him on the shoulder back, nice one, mate.
You sure you want to be the one of us to do this?
Okay.
Yes,
well, I think I have to be, don't I? I suspect, because if I offer you to be my champion, he might take one of his own, and that's not good.
No, they had a champion.
He's got a champion.
I thought you said a different.
Wilgar has no champion. Wilgar is now standing in the center of the circle, and he's beckoning you forward with his, golden knife, his curved golden knife.
I step forward and I go down on one knee and I raise the sword to my face and I kiss it and I go come on, Jesus, give us the big one this time, big fella. Come on, big man.
What is your move score, Mr. Edgefrith?
My move rate is 7.
Okay, his move. This is how we determine who goes first in the combat.
How do we get that?
I forget how you calculate it, Jackie, but I can tell you that since you're standing this side, it won't matter.
It's not going to matter, yeah.
For now, he has a move rate of 8, so he. Can
I just very quickly say as well? Just very very quickly say to Moira, if this goes badly for me, you might want to challenge him to a duel as well. All right, cheers.
No, I'll avenge you. And I grab onto the guy whose shield we got, and I just sort of cuddle him with all my might because I'm scared.
And he looks at you with interest in his eyes, and then he's been alone a long time, everybody. And then it is time for the fighting to begin.
Yeah.
But our friend Wilgar is saying something under his breath, and in fact, he is not coming toward you and attacking. He's whispering something under his breath. And as he's doing that, I want you to go ahead and take your action, and then I'll tell you what his little chant is doing, Mr. Edgefrith.
Okay, tell God to give you extra powers, Edgefrith.
I think I cast my mind back to when I was 12 years old and the son of the alderman of Ulster, where I was trained briefly in the sword and the shield in an attempt to stand the shield wall. And I try and lift my shield up high enough to sort of protect most of my body, and I think back to Ethelbald, the old captain of the house guard, who's like, "Keep your blade up, son. Keep your blade up." And I'm and I edge towards him, and then I take a swipe at him.
Okay, go for it, my friend.
I can tell you already. Barring some sensational roll, this is going to go extremely badly.
Your other hand.
Fuck me! I rolled a 14 against my 25.
Yes!
That's amazing.
Clang!
Check this guy even tighter.
I'm checking the skill.
now your blade strikes true because fucking Wilgar, what was he doing? He wasn't like coming at you with the knife. He was like saying something under his breath and like moving his hands strangely. And you come in and he has his arm up and you just nick like his arm, like you get a solid cut and blood spurts out of it. And now he makes a con roll to see if he can keep moving.
I presume that the watching Danes are all like, "Boo! You're a nonce. That's the worst sword stroke I've ever seen in my life."
They're loving it. They're like, ah! But I'm afraid to say that even though the poison from the potion will continue to try to paralyze him, so far it has not, because he just rolled a 4 on his quite high con. So he's doing great. He's still moving, and that means that he finally finishes his whatever like weird spell he's intoning. And actually, you know what? He just got cut. Let's see if he keeps his concentration.
He got interrupted, surely.
He sure did. Let's see if he keeps his concentration. I'm sad to say that he does indeed keep his concentration. And
I'm sad
now,
to hear that.
I'm happy.
Man, you probably should be because right. What's that?
What if I check the ground around me for pebbles because I want to I don't want to get caught interfering, but I want to throw a pebble because I see he's doing something weird and I want to break his concentration.
Okay, I'll let you do that in this last round before he acts again. I think that it's safe to say Moira might try something like that, but she has to do stealth because the Vikings won't take kindly to that.
Okay, so not a throw, it's a stealth.
I'm gonna make it just a straight stealth. Yeah.
Other hand.
Yes.
No, first hand. Oh, other hand. No stealth.
Okay, so you kind of like pick up a stone and you're like lifting it like very carefully, and the Viking beside you grabs your hand and goes, "No, not done." And now I need a Powell versus Powell roll between Edgefrith and.
This is where Big Jeezy comes in.
Big G.
The Lord is my shepherd. I just rolled a 5.
You shall not want.
Really?
Extreme success.
This is amazing. Okay, so here's what happens. Okay, so you got an extreme success at the same time that he critical missed on his spell, which I think means that you are kind of like praying to God. And right, that's what you were saying you were doing the whole time, right? So as you're praying, like you feel his like a weird energy pass from him to you, and suddenly you taste salt water in your mouth, and a little bit dribbles down out of your mouth. But then you start like praying, and you're praying, and you have just extreme succeeded against defending against this spell, and he critical misses, and then all of a sudden he goes. And like a bunch of salt water starts coming out of his mouth, and he's like, and that's when
it's a sign.
Yes, and that's when he stops moving. He can't even move. He's like, you can see that he's like bound and like, and all the Danes are like looking between each other, like, who does this mean won? And then Bjorn behind you, Edgefrith, is like, strike home, kill him while you have a chance.
Then I would like to do that. First of all, though, I would like to.
Bjorn is saying that to Edgefrith?
He's on Team Us.
Ordeal by combat, and this is and Bjorn is a Dane, and he's saying, "This is your chance. Fucking win the fucking fight."
Okay, so before
I think you might have saved the world.
It's a possibility
with that roll, that critical.
Before I strike or do anything, I'd like to hold my shield and sword out at length in my monk's robes and turn on the spot and say, "See, look upon his works, heretic sinners. The Fisher of Men has spoken here. He has brought the waters of the Sea of Galilee and placed them in the lungs of this heretic." And then I want to turn around and fucking bury my sword through his mouth.
Drool just coming out of
my mouth. So no matter what, you're going to do your coup de grace here, but I want you to make another sword roll just to see how elegantly Edgefrith will off after that speech.
That's awesome.
I rolled a 65 against a 25.
That's not great. So here's what it's still brutal. You still like put the sword in him, but it's like kind of like you're kind of like, you know, when an execution doesn't go off quite right, and you're kind of like trying to pull him off your sword, and all the Danes are like, ah! And then the Danes are like coming up to you and they're slapping you on the side and stuff like that.
And I'm like, oh,
No, gentle, no, don't do that. Don't hurt him. He's so gentle. No, what are they doing?
And Wilgar falls to the ground. And when he does, his beard and his robes and the furs he had kind of come loose a little bit. And I need a spot hidden roll from Eartha or Moira only, because Edgefrith is busy celebrating with the Danes.
with the lads.
With the lads.
Good hand. Good hand.
I got it.
You got it?
18 on 50.
Yeah.
Oh,
Moira,
that's amazing.
you noticed that like a little bit of where Wilgar's skin would have been exposed is showing, and you see scales.
Wait,
Dun. I missed it by one.
When they go down, you got to make sure they stay down. And I go over to the fallen fighter.
And what do you do when you go over there?
I just want to. I gave him the sword I gained, so I've got my short sword, and I pull it out, and I just approach slowly and warily.
Okay. Are you investigating what you saw?
Yeah. Should I roll for investigate?
No. I think that you just kind of cut at like the straps holding his furs together, and finally his garment falls open, and everybody starts screaming and retching because beneath his garments, Wilgar had like a weird mottled scales of different colors, and out of his abdomen are a series of like writhing tendrils and blinking insectoid eyes. This is his body beneath his robes, and as he dies, the colors that are like kind of like flashing across these weird scales start to fade to gray, and a weird yellow sort of like fluid starts to leak out of him, and everybody must make a sanity roll.
Oh. Can I also know that...
Can I spend some luck?
You cannot spend luck on a sanity roll.
I just 3 points off.
Oof.
Okay.
I missed.
Okay. How'd you do, Edgefrith?
I biffed it real bad.
Okay, guys.
Right in my moment of triumph.
Here we go.
Don't look over here.
First, Eartha. Eartha, you take 3 sanity loss. Okay, now we're going to go with Moira. Moira takes 4 sanity loss. And now we go to Edgefrith. I'm using a different die each time. Edgefrith, you take 6 sanity loss, and I must ask you to make an intelligence roll or an idea roll right now.
64 on a 65.
You succeed, which is bad. This means that your character now goes temporarily insane. So for I'm gonna rule for the next 5 minutes. Your character is in the grips of some sort of strange sanity, and boy, is the adventure ending like a Lovecraft story or what? You kill this guy, you're all cheering, you look back, and he is some sort of mutant that's been warped by the old gods, and everybody starts screaming. A lot of the Vikings have missed their sanity rolls, and they're like screaming and running out of the settlement, running away from this body, shouting oaths to Thor to protect them, oaths to Woden. But how does your insanity manifest itself, Edgefrith?
Well, I've now convinced myself that I'm probably the most dangerous warrior on the surface of the planet, which I think is flat. My insanity is I am incredibly... I've lost all sense of self, and I now think that I can kill every single person. Maybe I've always been the greatest warrior in the world, and I just didn't know it up until now, but I genuinely believe that.
Okay, so Eartha and Moira, you're probably kind of terrified as you see... Edgefrith look up from the body going,
I rip off my monk's habits. No longer shall I wear the cloths of a weakling. I shall gird myself in armor and bring fire and sword and blood to the Vikings.
And your
Really
weenie
muscle,
body
it's
is
just like, yeah,
revealed.
totally weenie.
That's the worst, weeniest, most terrible body ever. You see the bottom of
You're
my
a
rib
kid.
cage is like at like a weird angle, and like one half of my body is higher than the other.
Can I?
So,
am I
yes,
smart
you may.
enough to know that that he has to chop this dude into chunks?
I think that if Jackie could think of it, Eartha certainly could. So,
Right.
are you telling him, destroy the body? Yeah.
Right. I give him purpose of his thing, and at least it's the guy is down now, so that you're like, what you have to really do to make sure that this demon is dead is to chop him into chunks, which will give him an outlet, sort of some pillow work, like in therapy.
Yeah.
So where you just start hacking at that guy's dead body. Please.
Yeah, and I do it. I would like to say that I do that, and every bit of my inability as a swordsman is on show as I like half-assedly attempt to cut this thing to pieces, and I just I just gouge chunks of it off and like.
I was about to go for it, but when I see Edgefrith, I have to take some steps back because I've never seen him like this before.
No,
And does Bjorn
terrified.
want his
No
sword
way.
back at some point in the shield guide? Did they make their saves or?
Who knows? Because now we are going to cut to our epilogue. Now that we've had our climax, and we now join Edgefrith a month hence as he records the events in his in a some sort of record of the events. And what does he Jackie, tell us what does Edgefrith tell us about the story of Eartha?
Oh,
What happens to her afterwards? And I will tell you that, you have convinced the Vikings that something weird was going on and that it was one of their own. And then you have also convinced them that you came and destroyed it. So getting back to Totborough and things like that are things we probably don't need to worry about. I just want to know.
So
are
we back in? I'm back in Totborough. Are they back with the abbot?
We're actually. Sorry, I should have been clear. I think that we're going to frame this like. Now Edgefrith is just writing down what happened. So can you just give us an epilogue for Eartha that tells kind of what she did after the adventure and what she did in Totborough?
It's Edgefrith has told that he's writing down what a fine Christian upstanding citizen that Eartha is in the town of Totberg, and unburnable, super supportive of the Christian church and the Christian area, and just happens to be, just a really, just a good woman to talk to, and there is, and so everyone should leave her alone. Her status is much better with the church. With the new priests that they're going to send, it's going to be great. Eartha's everything's coming up roses for Eartha.
So, Eartha, I think that is duly recorded and duly noted at the monastery, and the bishop is also informed of your aid to Totborough and to Saint Swithin's, and for these reasons, you can decide: does Iadis get tried as a heretic? Iadis, your childhood friend, the one who started all of this?
He does not. Iadis lives. Iadis has they put him sort of, they sent him back home, and we just sort of he let's say that he's been exercised, and his faith is re-upped. With a little dash of he's just a little wiser. He knows more now, and he is a little more savvy as to and he's good, because the church that was built so that we didn't have to go to it he gets more followers because of it.
Oh, great. Okay, so yes, because of all of this, they perhaps our friend Edgefrith does not recommend that he be tried for heresy, and so that occurs, and you guys are beyond reproach by the church now for your actions. And now Edgefrith goes to record what became shortly thereafter of Moira of Mirth. And Moira, where do you see your character heading after this incident?
Well, just a little bit more about the incident is that as Edgefrith was really just hacking away at this monster, Moira decides to sort of like taking all of her cues of movement and dance that she learned as a child. She stands behind Edgefrith, and as soon as he makes a blow, she sort of like hits the back of the sword and makes it stick, and then he tries to pull it and it doesn't work, but she helps him, pulls it back. And as he's doing this, he lops off the head of one of these tentacled eye things that's coming out of the torso, and it sort of slithers over as no one noticed and goes up Moira's back and then into her ear. And as soon as the fight's ending, it looks like Edgefrith is taking care of this demon. It's in many chunks now, but she just sort of robotic, soldier-like, just sort of loses all coherence of the situation and just marches and starts to march towards the river and gets into one of those boats that you saw loaded up and just sort of starts sailing away.
Ooh, I love that. Yes, thank you for giving me the horror ending that every Cthulhu adventure requires. And so we leave Moira just alone, solo, in a small Viking canoe, heading out to sea. And what is she going to meet there in the deep waters? Perhaps Edgefrith alludes or hints at this in very veiled language in his record. But now we end with his final thoughts. Edgefrith, what do you put into your manuscript regarding what has happened to you and where your party is going?
I think that if we're watching the end of this in the style of a film, we're seeing him illustrate this manuscript and stuff, and he gets to the final paragraph. He says, and that's why I've taken leave of the abbey, and I've received a permission from the abbot to go and find her and put her down. And then I like close the book and I like pick up my sword and I'm like, I can't really pick it up. Hey! And I let go off, study out a shot, and then slide it into its scabbard, and I'm like, I will find her and I will free her from whatever it is that has taken her control. Because she's the one love. True, there she is. That's me and her.
That's amazing. The last thing I want is an art roll from Mr. Edgefrith to see if this is a manuscript that lasts through the ages, or in 200 really years. 200 years hence, does someone go, this is shite, and just throw it in
good because I spent a lot of points on art and then not use them at all.
Right. This is important. Is this a manuscript that lasts the test of time?
Let's just say I succeeded hard.
This manuscript is passed down through the ages, and perhaps this manuscript by Edgefrith of Allenchester will make an appearance in our series that's starting next Sunday, the Neptune Society, right here, 1:30 Pacific time. Nice. But in the meantime, let us give a hand to our players, a digital hand. If you at home want to clap with clap emojis, please do that. Man, you guys, the situation was so open-ended. I didn't know it would end with an ordeal by combat, or that it would end with a crazy critical miss and extreme success on a spell roll. But fuck, that was fun.
That was
really fun.
Jared, really cool. A great story. And
thanks, Jared.
Having Edgefrith be the one to deal the final blow was awesome.
And I think we have to come back to these characters at some point to see what happens if they can track down Moira, who's gone off to ostensibly worship Dagon or something.
Right.
Sea-based monster.
But in the meantime, I will say goodbye to our players. Please follow them on all the social medias and consume the content that they create. Jackie, I know, has many great albums and the Dork Forest podcast. Becca, just go to YouTube and type in Becca Scott.
Society is my YouTube channel.
Yes, and Humphrey, he helped write a show called Mythic Quest Raven's Banquet, and
it's really fun.
It's very fun.
You can get a free Apple TV. Well, first of all, they're putting a load of stuff up for free anyway at the moment, but you also can get like a 1 week trial for free if you've already got like iTunes or whatever. Then, of
And
course, they will be all like, oh, great, we're just going to secretly charge you $5 a month.
Right.
But you can cancel that.
You just put a little alert in your calendar to tell me when to shut it off. So you can just get it for freezies. You can watch all of Raven's Banquet before you have to shut it off. Okay, guys, thank you so much. I'm going to say goodbye. I'm going to hang out here for a couple of minutes to see if anybody has any questions. But thanks again, guys. Jackie Kashian, Humphrey Ker, and Becca Scott. Thank you so much. That was
Y'all
so
are
fun.
amazing. Take
Bye,
care.
guys.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Okay, and that was the end of part 2 of Cthulhu Dark Ages. Wow, I really liked where that went. I was surprised as a game master, and when that happens, I'm happy. So let me see if does anybody have any questions. If you don't, I will just remind you that next week, Sunday, the Neptune Society, a 19th century, a Cthulhu Gaslight series featuring eldritch tales of the sea. If you like video games like The Return of the Obra Dinn, or if you enjoyed the Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson vehicle, The Lighthouse, then you will enjoy our new series, The Neptune Society. I'll also remind you that this coming Wednesday at 6 p.m. Pacific time is when we are doing Chapter 6 of our Vampire the Masquerade Chronicle, Vampires of Pittsburgh. And it just got real good. The coterie just went on a mission where they took out an entire biker gang, and now they're tracking an anarch vampire that they're trying to bring to justice because they are agents of the Camarilla. So we'll see where their loyalties truly lie as that series goes forward. Are there any questions, anything like that? Do you know who will be playing Neptune Society? Great question. We don't yet. We have some confirms and some maybes and some things, but we'll know very soon, and we'll announce it, of course, on all of our social media and stuff very soon. Yeah, so we don't know yet, but I will say that the thing about Neptune Society is that the player roster will change more. So when we play Vampire, it's always Thomas, Ashley, and Ross so far, and their characters stay together. But with Neptune Society, it's going to be like a society, like a club. So players can kind of come in and out and form different parties and go on different, like a done-in-one or two-parter adventures. Kind of like this Cthulhu adventure. This was kind of like I did it Dark Ages because it's my proto try out, like to see if that format works, and I think it really did. So a lot of the Neptune Society adventures will be 1 or 2 parts, so you don't have to follow the entire series for 9 years in order to figure out what's going on. Anybody else have any? I think that's it. I think that's really it. Man, you guys are so great. The people that watch. Here's a question from Hubs40. Have you ever tried the old Vampire Dark Ages game? I love Vampire the Dark Ages. And a game that I ran one time in Vampire Dark Ages, and it would be really fun to try it here, was I tried a game where turns were done in like seasons. So I let a bunch of people, they were in the Kiev Rus right before the Mongol invasion. And I let them know that, at a certain date, the Mongols come roaring into this area. And I let the vampires do all of their like intrigues and political machinations. And each turn was like fall, summer, winter. And it went really well. I ran that game in Atlanta one time when I was traveling around touring as a comic. So I would really like to try playing a Vampire Dark Ages game or any game like that again, because that's kind of a fun way that role-playing games don't normally go, where you kind of like take longer turns, let more time pass. I think that something like 5 or 6 years passed in that game in one session. So do you think your brother will join for a game? Yeah, my brother is definitely someone I want to get in here. When I asked him about it, he said he wants to play World War I Cthulhu at some point. He would love that. Of course, we're starting in the 19th century. The Neptune Society actually starts in like 1837. So maybe we'll just slowly, move forward in the timeline. And eventually, when we get to World War I, my brother will join us. but that is the idea. I was browsing and randomly found Cthulhu in the name of your stream. What is this stream about? Could you help me speed, like, long story short, what's going on in here? Yeah, Havren. What a big question. So this is Stream of Blood. I'm the host of it. My name's Jared Logan. We stream tabletop role-playing games. Games like Dungeons and Dragons where people play a character and roll dice. I don't know how much background you need here. Like, have you just heard of Cthulhu, or have you heard of the role-playing game Call of Cthulhu? Anyway, we do all kinds of different games here. The only games we don't do are, like, 5e Dungeons and Dragons or like D20 fantasy games, because there's a lot of streams that do that. I really like horror games, so we do a lot of like horror role-playing games. And today we played a game of Cthulhu Dark Ages. Which is based on the literature of H.P. Lovecraft, but set in the Dark Ages. I hope that answers your question. That was a big question. All right, I think that is it. So again, we'll see you guys Wednesday. Wait, are you Cthulhu and you saw your own name? Oh, he's talking to the other commenter. Okay, that's it. Wednesday, 6 p.m. Come back for Vampire the Masquerade, Vampires of Pittsburgh. And until then, Shub Nagorath, Cthulhu Fatagan, everybody. Bye-bye.